You start reading, but after 5 minutes, your thoughts drift away. You grab your phone, scroll through social media, and when you finally return to studying, you realize you haven't absorbed anything. You can spend hours watching tutorials, taking notes, and rereading textbooks. But when it's time to apply that knowledge, your mind goes blank. I know what I'm talking about, because I've been through this myself. In school and university, I spent countless hours studying. But when I needed to recall something important, my brain just refused to cooperate. I blamed myself, thinking I had a bad memory or wasn't trying hard enough. But then I realized it wasn't my memory that was the problem, but how I was learning. 90% of people study the wrong way. They spend hours with their books, yet their brains fail to retain information. Time passes, but their knowledge doesn't grow. But what if there was another way? What if you could retain 10 times more information while spending half the time studying? When I started using the right techniques, everything changed. I stopped getting stuck on the same material. I stopped feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. Now I learn faster, and the knowledge stays with me for a long time. And you can do it too. Why you struggle to remember information? It's not that you have a bad memory. Your brain is wired to forget anything it thinks is unnecessary. If information isn't used, it gets erased. There are two main reasons why you can't retain what you learn. First, you are learning passively. When you simply read or listen to a lecture, it creates an illusion of understanding. But in reality, your brain isn't storing the information properly. Second, you stretch your study sessions for too long. According to Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time allotted. If you plan to study for 3 hours, your brain will drag it out, get distracted, and lose focus. As a result, you'll learn far less than you could. But there are techniques that can help you overcome these traps and learn much faster. Strike one: mnemonics and spaced repetition. Your brain doesn't retain boring information. You read a chapter, and an hour later, it's gone. I used to struggle with this all the time. I'd try to memorize numbers, facts, even names. But the moment I actually needed them, nothing. Blank mind. Then, I discovered mnemonics, a simple trick that turns dry, complex information into something vivid, something memorable. Let me show you how it works. Imagine you need to remember that water boils at 100 degrees. Most people, they just repeat the number over and over. But that doesn't work. Instead, picture this: a boiling kettle, steam rising, and in that steam, a glowing 100 floating above it. Much easier to remember, right? Or maybe you always forget someone's name. Let's say their name is Baker. Instead of just repeating it in your head, picture them, wearing a chef's hat, covered in flour, holding a tray of fresh bread. Now, that name sticks. Need to remember a long Wi-Fi password? Instead of trying to recall random letters and numbers, break it into tiny stories. D3, B5 becomes Debbie's 3 big dogs. XQ9L turns into Xavier's quirky 9 llamas. The weirder the image, the more exaggerated it is. The easier it is to recall. But mnemonics alone, they aren't enough. Because if you don't reinforce what you learn, your brain will still erase it. Most people make a huge mistake. They reread material immediately after studying, thinking that helps. It doesn't. The right way to lock information into memory? Spaced repetition. Here's how it works. First review, 10 minutes after learning. Second review, the next day. Third review, a week later. Fourth review, a month later. Strike two, the power of short study sprints. Another common mistake, studying for too long. People sit with their books for 3-4 hours, but after just 30 minutes, their brain gets tired, attention drifts, productivity plummets. The solution? Study sprints. Instead of forcing yourself through endless hours, break your study time into short, focused intervals. Here's how it works. Study for 25 minutes. Full focus. Take a 5-minute break. Repeat this cycle 3 to 4 times. Then take a longer break of 20 to 30 minutes. Why does this work? Because your brain can't concentrate for long periods. When you study in short sprints, you maximize focus. You prevent burnout. This is called the Pomodoro technique, and multiple studies prove its effectiveness. It helps maintain high attention levels, and it significantly improves retention. Now, imagine combining both methods. You use mnemonics to encode information. You reinforce it with spaced repetition. And you structure your study sessions around short, intense sprints. The result? You learn faster. You retain more. You avoid mental overload. And you'll feel the difference immediately. Strike 3. Stop watching, start doing. How many times have you watched a tutorial, read a textbook chapter, and thought, "Now I understand," only to forget everything when you actually needed it? This is the biggest mistake. Passive learning. You can watch thousands of videos, read hundreds of books, but if you don't use the knowledge, your brain won't see it as valuable. And when your brain decides something isn't valuable, IT deletes. IT. Studying without practice? It's just an illusion as bow of learning. Want to learn a language? Stop waiting. Start speaking. Write something. Say a sentence out loud. Talk to a native speaker. Studying programming? Open your code editor. Type something. Anything. Even if it's wrong. Just start. Trying to understand a complex topic? Explain it to someone else. No one around? Then explain it out loud to yourself. Why does this work? Because your brain remembers actions better than passive reading. If you use your hands, engage your speech, force yourself to explain things, your memory locks it in. One of the most powerful techniques? The Feynman technique. Imagine you have to explain what you just learned to a 5-year-old child. If you can't simplify it, you don't fully understand it. Try it now. Take a topic you're learning and pretend to teach it to a child. Can you do it? If not, go back. Refine your understanding and make it simpler. The sooner you start applying knowledge, the faster your brain locks it in. Don't wait. Use what you've learned. Today, strike 4. Eliminate distractions. You sit down to study. Open your book. Suddenly, a notification on your phone. You check your message, scroll through social media, maybe open YouTube. 30 minutes pass, and you've forgotten what you were supposed to be studying. Here's the reality. It takes 20 minutes to regain full concentration after every distraction. Each time you grab your phone, you reset your focus. This is why so many people spend an entire day studying, yet retain almost nothing. The fix? Create a distraction-free study environment. Turn off notifications. The easiest thing you can do right now. Study with headphones or in a quiet space. Reduce background noise as much as possible. Use website blockers. Stop yourself from wasting time online. But most importantly, set a rule. While you're studying, your phone does not exist. Try it. You'll be shocked at how much faster and more efficiently you can learn. No more interruptions. No more wasted hours. If you eliminate distractions, your productivity will double, maybe even triple. Your brain will stay locked in, and you will start learning at lightning speed. You are not the 90%. You can learn faster. Now imagine using all these techniques together. Short, high-focus study sprints, mnemonics, to encode information instantly, immediate application, to reinforce learning, a distraction-free environment, to maximize focus. They work because they are based on how your brain actually functions. What method resonated with you the most? Leave a comment below.